Crazy! What about that
Radio Al-Ansar, Durban, South Africa.
Can you see the wind brushing those leaves? Look at that fish.
Hey, it's Green Thumbs Up Day. It is Sunday, and you know that is your natural living and gardening, of course, day with a very, very special show lined up for you today. If you do not have your pens and papers, run and get them. I am, of course, Rabia at Radio Al-Ansar. This is Green Thumbs Up. You'll catch us on 90.4 FM in Durban, 105.6 in Pietermaritzburg. And if you take those two numbers and put them together and throw an 060 in the middle, in the front, you've got our WhatsApp number. 060-904-1056 is the WhatsApp number that you're wanting to dial with all of your questions.
Easy as ABC.
Easy as 1, 2, 3.
Of course.
You heard the voice. That is the voice of our sound engineer and Green Thumbs Up sidekick over here, and that is Brother Siboniso Mkhize. You know, I thought there must be a better word than sidekick.
Mhm.
I think it's right hand. Yes, because a sidekick is just a sidekick. And I think you're more of a right hand on this show, really. The Brother Siboniso does the sound for us. You'll hear sometimes that there is the sound of birds and butterflies
Some
or applause
bees,
in the background.
Some type of water, like you're going to fish.
Yeah, give us something. What do you got there for us? Give us a little sound there.
Oh.
And give us a little sound. Go on now. He does all of this in the background. And our sound engineers don't always get a shout out. So folks, here at Green Thumbs Up, whoever our sound engineer is, and it is usually Siboniso Mkhize, they are included. There you go. If you haven't been to Pass Water, you're going to want to now. The sound of running water. So we have some listeners already lined up, both on WhatsApp as well as on the socials. We're on Radio Al-Ansar's YouTube page, Facebook page, Instagram page, and you can also find me on my personal TikTok life coach, Rabia. So here we have a show for you where you're going to need your pen and paper, because today you're going to get recipes. Would you ever want to make your own soap at home, Siboniso?
Come again?
Your own soap.
The soap, the one that's...
Like a bar of soap.
Oh, wow.
Now imagine if you could make a bar of soap at home, and then you could put into that bar of soap something that's going to exfoliate and clean your skin and improve circulation. And maybe even just help with cellulite. Wouldn't you want that recipe?
Of course.
Of course. And that recipe's coming.
I'm having the paper, I'm having a pen and right in front of me.
There you go. We're also going to continue from last week, because folks had so many questions and we never got to finish on the zero waste thing. So we're going to talk about how to store your fruits and veg so that they don't frack soon after you get them from the store. Okay, so we don't just do gardening on this show, as you know, including waste. And we're going to be talking also about zero waste. But let us start first of all, we are on the cusp of spring, which means that the weather is doing weird things. So shout out to our listeners and people saying they're in Cape Town. So therefore, let us begin the weather with Cape Town weather. In Cape Town this week, today we have a minimum of 10, a maximum of 15. But guess what? By Thursday, it's 14 and 19. So by Thursday, you've got nice warm day. And then 2 days after that, it's rain. And that is just so typical of this time of, it's almost, I always think of springtime is the arrival of spring is like a woman that is about to give birth. And things are a bit upside down at that time. There might be breaking of water. There might be mood swings. There might be exhaustion. There might be a sunny disposition. And the weather is very much mirroring that in Cape Town. In Joburg, we've also got the same thing, but it is a little bit more stable in Johannesburg this week. And guess what? Joburg friends and listeners, your weather is getting better. It is getting better. You're in the 25s and 26s and 27 degrees centigrade, which means the heat is starting to rise. And guess what? It's hotter than in Durban. Yes, it is hotter in Joburg this week than in Durban for a change. 19 degrees is our average in Durban. Today it's minimum of 17, maximum of 21. And then it goes up towards Friday where we were at 26 degrees. And then, of course, Saturday and Sunday is slight drop again because, as I said, spring is coming. Now, people normally celebrate Spring Day, the 1st of spring. But guess what? It's not spring on the 1st of spring. The spring equinox is on the 21st of September. The 1st of spring is not the 1st of September. It's the 21st of September. But because everybody knows it as the 1st of September, we are going to, my colleagues and I here at Radio Al Ansar, bring you the best of the best of the best shows about rejuvenation and kind of refreshing yourselves mentally, physically, emotionally, spiritually, in terms of business, the whole bang shoot. So we're going to have a whole spring week for all of you who are listening in. And if you're not listening in, why aren't you listening in? We live stream all around the world. So it is your Islamic radio station of choice. Yes, it is. In fact, we received the award for the 3rd best radio station, local radio station. We are number 3, only because it was really late when we realized that we were nominated. Otherwise, I'm sure we would have been able to let you listeners know. And next year, inshallah, why not? We must just increase that. So I'm going to start today. We've done our weather. Now, I want to turn things around a little bit. Usually we do a bit of the gardening and then we proceed into whatever the special thing is for the day. And then we bring apothecary up at the end. But apothecary has been relegated to the goodbyes over the last 2 weeks. We've not really touched much on apothecary. So I want to give you a recipe. 2 recipes, in fact, for something that you can make now for wintertime. You can make it now for colds and flus and toothache. And it's an anti-inflammatory, great for gut health. It is an immune booster, deluxe of deluxe of deluxe. And what is it? What is it? It is a honey. A honey, but a special honey, because this is a garlic honey and there are 2 ways to make it. The one way is to make your garlic honey with a preservative known as apple cider vinegar. And the other is to make it in such a way that it'll last at the very least 6 months. And that is your fermented garlic honey. Now, when you're making either of these recipes, there's something you need to know about garlic in terms of health. People will say garlic is fantastic, and it is. Garlic is an anti-inflammatory, and it is. Garlic has all these wonderful benefits, and it does. So we put garlic in our food. But did you know that if you have not cut that garlic open and exposed it to air, you're not getting the full benefits of the garlic? Because the full benefits of garlic comes from a little compound known as allicin. Who on earth is allicin? It is allicin in the garlic. Yes. And allicin is only produced when the flesh of the garlic, not the skin on the outside, the flesh of the garlic, even after you peel it, there's still a membrane on the outside. The flesh of the garlic is exposed to oxygen. So if you're going to cook with garlic, cut up your garlic, leave it ready for 5 to 10 minutes so that the allicin can be produced, and then put it in your food. Because if you put it in your food like that, you are going to get so much more out of your garlic. A couple of messages that have come in. Let us read them, shall we? We love your messages. So Tutu Bai says, "Hi, Rabia." Well, hello. Sister Sarah Bibi Mustafa says, "Assalamu alaikum, Rabia, Cavallo, and Siboniso. I hope you're all keeping well with my precious duas. A beautiful spring day. You started the nasheeds like spring day. Mashallah, nasheed, well done. It's not yet spring. It's the 24th of August, Sister Sarah. You're a little bit excited about spring, but so am I. She says, I am just listening to you and learning about gardening, but I don't do gardening at all. Your show is beautiful advice, Jazakallah. I mean to read my message. May Allah reward you abundantly. And that is from Sister Bibi Mustafa in the CBD area. And there we go. Then we have another message in here from Sister Aisha Bibi Jamal, and she's let us know that we have a technical situation which is going to be resolved immediately. So if you're not hearing us on radio, please go ahead and join us on the socials. Walaikum salam also to Sister Sajida, and good morning to Lily, who has joined us as well. So let's get to that booster, immune booster. Remember we said take your garlic, cut it up, and then put it one side before you cook it. Allow that 5 to 10 minutes for the allicin to build inside, the chemical compound to be made between the inside flesh of your garlic clove and the open air. It needs oxygen to breathe. Now, you're going to take enough garlic to fill an entire mason jar. Any size you want. If you want a small mason jar, that's cool. If you want a big one, then obviously you're going to need more garlic. Cut your garlic. You can just cut it in half, set it aside, and allow it to create the allicin. Now, once you've set it aside and you've cut it, get yourself a toothpick and give it a lot of little pinpricks. Because you want more of the allicin in, right? So if you haven't chopped the garlic and you've just halved it, you still need to make a few pinpricks in that garlic, right? Make it holy garlic and not holy, but holy and holy. Why not? Fill your jar and then take your honey, your liquid honey, gently warm it if you want to because it'll make it more liquid. Do not let it go above 50 degrees centigrade. If you want it just as is, that's fine. Use raw honey ideally. Pour it over your garlic till it is almost at the very, very top of that jar. Leave about 1 centimeter to 1.5 centimeters of space on the top, and then close it, but do not seal it tight for this recipe, because every day you want to go there, you want to give it a shake, and then you want to burp that lid. In other words, open the lid and close it. Why? Because that garlic with the honey is going to begin to do its thing, and it's going to begin to ferment, and not in a bad way. Okay. So a message here from somebody who identifies as Food Hunter. Salam. Did someone say food? Walaikum salam. Yes, we did. We're doing garlic immune boosters. And so you're taking that and you're going to burp it. Now you're going to need to keep it on the counter in a kind of darkish side of your kitchen, or put it in your kitchen cupboard, but not in the fridge. You do not store this in the fridge. You want the heat, but you don't want to put it in the sun, right? You don't want it exposed to light. You want it in a dark, cool place. It'll generate its own heat. It'll start to kind of turn that honey into more of a liquidy honey. And I promise you that stuff is amazing for sore throats, for toothache, for immune boosting, coughs, flus, any kind of fever, inflammation. If you've got bloated gut, as we get older also, we tend to bloat a little bit more, right? If you've had a heavy meal, all of these things. And the beauty of this recipe is that it's not going to taste very, very heavily of garlic, because you have cut the garlic, you have pinpricked the garlic, and then you have also gone and put it into honey and given it time. How long must it sit in that before you use it? At least a month. Ideally, an entire 6 months. So that's why I say, make it now as we're going into spring. By the time that winter gets here, you're going to have the most wonderful immune booster. And if you make extra, you can bless someone else with it. Isn't that wonderful? You can make a big jar of it. Fill that jar with your garlic. Fill that garlic with your honey. Look after it. And by the time winter comes, you can make gifts for all the people that you love, all of the elderly, and all of the kiddies too. A teaspoon of that for the kids goes a very, very, very long way. Now, then I said there's 2 recipes, right? Because this one you don't keep in the fridge. The next one you actually store in the fridge. And here what you're going to do is you're going to take your food processor. You're going to throw in 1 cup of garlic, fresh garlic, which you have cut and allowed to be in the air so that the allicin can be created. 10 minutes is enough. Throw that into your food processor. Into that, throw a cup of honey, a cup of garlic, a cup of honey, and a half a cup of apple cider vinegar. That is your preservative. Now listen, when I tell you this stuff is delicious, this is not just for immune boosting, okay? This is also for taste, for flavor, for the flavor on your food. Okay, question that has come in. Where is our radio station based? We are based in Durban, South Africa, 90.4 in Durban and 105.6 in Pietermaritzburg. And we audio stream around the world at Radio Al-Ansar. So that is us here. So if you've got that all mixed up, put it in your mason jar, put it in the fridge, and it'll last you easily a year, 2 years there in the fridge. But how wonderful is it that you can put that not just onto savory foods, but also onto sweet. Yes, play with your food. Drizzle a little bit of this garlic honey for something a little bit different, a little bit surprising. And guess what? Once you have that base recipe, if you wanted to add, for instance, cardamom, okay, for a little bit of weight loss, a little bit of detox, you could. You could. And speaking of detox, we have this morning's tisane right here. You know, on a Sunday, I always make a little something special to bring with and to tell you about. This is our tisane for today. Tisane is a tea. Often people speak about herbal teas as teas. In actual fact, they are a tisane. Tea actually refers to when you're using tea leaves. Did you know? Yes, now you know. Yeah. So what do we have here today? This little golden bit of delicious water. Bismillah. Okay, the first thing I'm tasting on there is the rosemary because I put quite a bit of rosemary in here. So, but here's this recipe. This is for energy. This is for blood circulation, to cleanse and purify the blood. And there's a touch of immune boosting in here and anti-inflammatory. What is in here? I have put into this tea rosemary, write it down, raspberry leaf. You can use equal quantities of rosemary, raspberry leaf, and then you use only 1 teaspoon of dry stinging nettle. Okay, and that is the tea that we have here today, the tisane. It is our Sunday tisane. So if you have any questions on that garlic cure, the most amazing thing is that garlic cure. So we're beginning with, we're having started with our apothecary. Our apothecary. Let us talk about how much food is wasted in our homes, and plastic and garbage. And did you know that in South Africa, every person throws away about 41 kilograms of waste every year? And that's just the plastic waste. How's that? And food waste in South Africa, 10 million tons. Think about that. 10 million tons of food waste a year. Food that could have been turned into compost, food that's maybe just ugly fruit, ugly vegetables, and because they're ugly, we throw them away, when you could be turning them into preserves, turning them into cakes and puddings and all sorts of things, and even, of course, using anything that contains pectin, like your apple pips. People throw apple pips away. Apple pips actually work so well to help you to make jams. Yes, somebody commented 41 kilograms. That's so much of waste. Absolutely. That's just 41 kilograms of plastic waste. What about the 10 million tons a year of food waste? And when I think of that, and I think of the famine going on in Palestine, and I think of the famine going on in Congo, and I think of the famine going on in other countries around the world, the food, even the hunger that happens here in South Africa, it's almost unconscionable for me that we should be wasting away so much food. All of your vegetable scraps, here's another recipe for you. You've peeled some potatoes, you've peeled some carrots, you've peeled some onions, you've peeled some baby marrows, you've cut the tips off the baby marrows, you've got some garlic skins, and you throw them all in the bin. But you didn't have to. If you were to put all of those into a pot and bring them to a boil, you can make yourself a lovely vegetable stock. So get all your scraps together, put them in an airtight container that in your fridge, and when you're ready, cook that together. Boil it up and make yourself some lovely, lovely stock. Add a little drizzle of olive oil, right? And it is delicious. Another comment that has come in with regards to the stats given, 10 million tons of food waste. If you have 10 millions of food, we could feed the world for 2 years. Can you even believe that? Feed the world for 2 years. 10 million tons of food waste a year, Siboniso, in South Africa, with all the people going hungry. So here's what you can do. First of all is keep your food produce dry. If you've got moisture, you've got mold. And this brings me to the topic. A question has come in. Do we season the veggie stock? Absolutely. Season it however you like. You can add you can make your stock by boiling all the vegetables together. If you want it more flavorful, you can roast all the vegetables with those skins and everything in the oven, add your seasoning, add your spices, add your olive oil, and then boil it. And then you've got a tastier stock. So it depends on what you're wanting to make, right? But here's the thing. We all have fridges. Refrigeration is everywhere, okay? And so what do? Do you keep any fruits and veg outside of the fridge?
No.
You keep everything in the fridge?
Everything inside.
Everything in the fridge?
My banana, my apple. But when you take it out, you can see underneath it's what's trying to turn.
Can I tell you what? Bananas should not be kept next to anything. Bananas release a chemical that causes fruit to ripen really fast. So if you've got your bananas next to your apples, you've got your bananas next to your pears, you've got your bananas next to your tomatoes, you've got your bananas next to your carrots. Your carrots are going to go soft. Your potatoes are going to sprout. If you keep tomatoes, your tomatoes are going to go rotten.
What you told me last week.
Did you?
Yeah. You said I must
take the tomato. Yes.
Yeah. I must turn it and put it on that way. What you call this?
Upside down. Yes. Yeah. With the flour part.
Yeah.
Upside down.
Yeah.
On the countertop in a cool, dry place. That's all you need. But vegetables were not meant to grow together. Okay. So
Go on.
They will die off together, and we throw everything in our fridge drawer, right? But for example, your lettuce, your spinach, your broccoli, all of those things, those leafy greens, put them into a plastic container with a damp kitchen towel, paper or fabric inside it, and lay it there and then close it. You're going to get at least another 4 weeks out of that without it going off. So if you have to buy bulk, that's one way to preserve it. Bananas, they're so useful. If you're putting your bananas in the fridge, they're going to go black.
Yeah, they turn the color.
Right? And not only that, they lose the flavor. Mangoes, we put mangoes in the fridge. Mangoes lose their flavor in the fridge. They become more bitter. Oranges and lemons thrown together, the oranges become more sour. Yes, because of the chemicals released by the fruit. Okay, so yes, so this is the thing. We have got to take an ad break, so we will be back right after the break. So we'll see you right after this. Don't go away.
AI is changing the way we teach and learn. Are you ready to keep up? Join us for a dynamic seminar on how educators can harness artificial intelligence effectively in the classroom. Al-Ansar Hall, Overport, Saturday, 6 September from 9 a.m. to 1 p.m. Tickets 150 Rand, available at the Al-Ansar shop.
Welcome to Simplex Radio. Visit our showroom for the full range of car audio. Our TV department carries top brands with quality LED panels, full HD to Ultra HD, and now the experience of Super Ultra HD. Visit our theater rooms and transform your home with brands like Onkyo, Integra, Denon, Boston Acoustics, Yamaha, and more for quality audio visual experience. Now available, full range of home appliances. A one-stop shopping experience. Call 031 306 4029 or Kenilworth Park, 202 Brickfield Road, Overport. Simplex Radio, the name you can trust.
Get ready to elevate your fitness game at First Fitness in Durban's Berea. With a spacious free weight area, award-winning equipment, and exclusive ladies-only parking and training level, we've got everything you need to crush your goals. Hit the ground running on our outdoor track or unleash your inner warrior in our MMA and boxing dungeon. Plus, enjoy high security and ample parking. And don't forget to refuel at our Halal Coffee and Health restaurant for the best in coffees, smoothies, and healthy eats. Join us today and redefine your fitness journey. First Fitness, dare to be extraordinary.
Get ready, Durban. The TBR Family 5-kilometer fun run and walk is happening. 11 October at the Blue Lagoon Lawns, kicking off at 7 a.m. Join us for a day packed with excitement, a scavenger hunt, kite building, a burger eating showdown, and prizes galore. Enjoy food trucks, family games, and a live 6-hour broadcast from Radio Al Ansar. Don't forget, bring a new toy to brighten a child's day in hospital.
You're sitting down at a restaurant and your order arrives. What do you go for first? The shake, the chips, or the burger? At Wimpy, there's no wrong way to enjoy your meal. Treat yourself to a cheeseburger, small classic shake, and chips for just 99 Rand 90. Eat your burger with your fingers or a fork. You do you. Whoever you are, whatever you crave, however you like it. At Wimpy, you're always welcome. Promo available at Wimpy Sparks Road, Wimpy Atrium, and Wimpy Westwood only.
WhatsApp us now on 060 904 1056.
It's official. Checkers Foods Kawi Park is our first food store with a halal butchery, bakery, and deli certified by NIHT, the National Independent Halal Trust. This will ensure high standards and ethical practices across our butchery, bakery, and deli from farm to table. So visit Checkers Foods Kawi Park for an exceptional shopping experience that keeps getting better and better.
Follow us on Instagram at Radio Al Ansar.
Get ready for Green Thumbs Up, the gardening and natural living show you didn't know you needed. I'm your host and life coach, Rabia, and we're talking birds, bees, butterflies, and blooms, growing food in garden rooms, home-based holistic healing, and much more. Whether you're a seasoned gardener or nature lover, plant assassin, or permaculture professional, we got you. We got you. Let us bring you the ideas, the facts, support, and inspiration to go green wherever you are. Sundays 9 to 10 a.m. only on Radio Al Ansar. And you're back with Green Thumbs Up. I'm Rabia Carvalho, and we are that natural living show with all sorts of wonderful tips for you. Somebody has actually popped on and asked a really interesting question and said, can you tell me what should I eat for suhoor so that I don't feel dehydrated, as well as for iftar? Now, although it is not Ramadan time, there are people that want to still do their fasting, right? And it's a valid question. And it's an important question in terms of natural healing, and we cover food here. So let's talk about that for just a little bit to give the advice to this brother or sister that has asked the question. So the trick when it comes to fasting, if you're not doing religious fasting, you may be doing intermittent fasting, and you may want something that keeps you fuller for longer. And there's a couple of secrets. The first is good quality protein. If you're starting your day with cornflakes and it's high in sugars, that is a bad idea. Okay? Coffee in the morning is going to dehydrate you. Coffee is a diuretic. So you're wanting to avoid the coffee. If you are going to have coffee in the mornings, also drink a rehydration fluid. Nothing wrong with that. An easy rehydration fluid is a pinch of salt, a pinch of bicarbonate of soda, and you can have some lemon juice, a splash of apple cider vinegar alternative to the lemon juice, some water, and some honey in there. And that is a wonderful thing to keep you hydrated throughout the day. Coconut water also absolutely brilliant for you to keep you hydrated throughout the day. Coconut water. So what would you eat? Overnight oats is a wonderful thing to make. It's a wonderful thing to break fast with, as much as it's a wonderful thing to start your breakfast with. Put some oats in a jar or in a cup that's got a container that's got a lid. Fill it with your nuts of choice, your raisins, some dates. Put in the milk of your choice and put it in the fridge. Overnight, it's going to slowly break down, and then you're going to find that it gives you enough fiber for your tummy to work, and it also keeps you hydrated. So you can drink a lot of water at iftar, of course, and throughout the evening, if you are fasting, will be very helpful. But to have that rehydration fluid is a good thing. And the other thing, of course, is if you've not eaten the whole day, or if you've had a long intermittent fasting window of 20 hours, 18 hours, 25 hours, now your stomach think of it as dry earth. It's dry earth. And what do? We throw in something really hot and spicy. It's not ideal for our stomach. Start off with something mild and soothing. Something like bone broth is absolutely wonderful. Okay. A message has come in from Brother Tufik, watermelon fasting. So you can fast with fruits as a detoxification. If you wanted to detoxify your body, it's 3 days of fruit smoothies, not juices. Fruit smoothies, you need that fiber. You can have fruit and vegetable, mix them all together, or you can pick one fruit of your choice if you really, 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 really want to, and have only that in different forms throughout the day. And that is a way to detoxify. Going back to our fridge tips, we spoke about the leafy greens. Now, if you've got carrots, celery, radishes, you can take off the green leaves and then cut those into longish chunks and put them into a jar, a mason jar, put some water in it, and then put the lid on, put it in the fridge. It's going to last you weeks and weeks and weeks. Things like berries, strawberries, grapes. I gave this away last week, but somebody asked just before the end of the show if I could repeat it. What you're wanting to do is you want to submerge your berries or your grapes in water. Submerge that fruit in water, into which you have added 1 teaspoon of bicarbonate of soda and a tablespoon of vinegar. Now, that's going to fizz. That's okay. What does it do? It's going to remove any dirt. It's going to help to preserve your fruit, and it's going to get rid of the pesticides. You can soak apples in that as well before you eat them. Have a little jar that's got some water, that's got some bicarbonate of soda. Submerge the apple in there. A little bit of apple cider vinegar or any other vinegar of your choice is optional, but it also works. Submerge it in there. Get rid of any other pesticides that are in there. For the berries, put the jar, close the jar, put it in the fridge, and it is perfect. Your cauliflowers and broccolis, as I said, you can have it in that container with a damp kitchen towel, paper, or fabric. Or if you wanted to, you can actually wrap that broccoli. We keep the broccoli, we keep the lettuce as it came from the shop. In that cling wrap. We keep it like that. No. Take it off. Undress that broccoli and cauliflower, put it into a damp cloth, and then you can go ahead and put it in the fridge. Most of stuff does not need to go in the fridge, and we put everything in the fridge. Bananas, we said, wrap that tip of the banana, the long stalk, wrap each one individually, hang your bananas up in a mesh bag. That is the best way to store your bananas. Sweet potatoes and potatoes should not be kept together. Sweet potatoes or potatoes and onions should not be kept together. Why? Because it makes your potatoes sprout. If you put sweet potatoes in the fridge, they lose their flavor. If you keep potatoes in the fridge, they begin to go into this chemical transformation, making more sugar in the potato than you actually need. It eats up the starch. We don't want that. Okay. So, and then there's, of course, eggs. Somebody asked, what can I do with the eggs? You can keep your eggs out of the fridge. You can keep them in that little egg box if you want to, and just turn them every few days. Turn your eggs. But the secret is to coat your eggs coat them. You can use olive oil, you can use coconut oil, you can use sunflower oil, but it creates a barrier. Some eggs that you buy from the more fancier stores, and you know what I'm talking about, those fancy schmancy stores with the high expensive prices of eggs because they say they're all organic and the chickens have been raised, I don't know, hand fed and whatever else. Those eggs often have been washed. Do not buy washed eggs because washed eggs have had the natural protective coating of the egg removed. Don't wash the eggs. You don't need to wash your eggs until you're going to cook them. If you're going to crack the shell or you're going to boil them, then yes, you can give your eggs a rinse before you put them into your food. Any eggs that you buy, brown eggs, white eggs, goose eggs, ostrich eggs, you can coat them in a little bit of oil and you can keep them, upright, with a pointy top, pointy bottom, and then just turn them every few days. Once a week, twice a week is ample. And you can keep your eggs out of the fridge like that for up to 6 months. So if you're wanting to store your eggs, that's a good way to store it without needing a fridge. And people often say, I'm going away on holiday for a week. What do I do with all these eggs? And they, I don't know what they do with the eggs. Yes, you can freeze eggs. Did you know that? You can actually freeze eggs. But if you're not going to freeze your eggs or you're going away and you're wanting to switch off your fridge and your freezer, you can do that as well. Okay. A question that has come in from an apothecary side from Sister Sajida says, my foot just above my ankle swells every now and then, and I have used eucalyptus oil and then it goes down. Alhamdulillah, that's wonderful. Remember, if you're using any kind of essential oil like eucalyptus oil, you need to dilute it in a carrier oil because essential oil can actually get into your bloodstream. If you ingest it, it'll get into your stomach and it's not good for our bodies. It can actually eat away at the stomach lining, for example. So always dilute your essential oils in a carrier oil. What oil? Ideally, if you're using it on kids, olive oil. If you've used essential oil and there's a burn on the skin as a result, immediately apply olive oil. It neutralizes it. But if you're going to use essential oils on your skin for rejuvenation, for instance, then you can use jojoba oil, jojoba oil, whatever you want to call that. You can use sweet almond oil. You can use olive oil. You can use castor oil. Yes, we know. And for that ankle of yours, this is what I would suggest is you put a castor oil compress. The listeners who heard me on Sister Shagufta Khan's show in the week will know that I have unfortunately injured my knee yet again. Oh my, yet again. So I've had several knee injuries over the years. I think they started when I was in grade 5. That's a very, very long time ago. All right, grade 5 first landed on my left knee. So castor oil really is the only thing that helps as an external thing to reduce swelling, that kind of a thing. And then let's talk about bread. Hopping around quite a lot today as the questions come in. Sister Sajida, may Allah grant you shifa. Jazakallah so much. Inshallah. Ameen. If you are storing your bread, a lot of people will put their bread in the fridge when it's hot, which is fine, except it's in a plastic bag. And the plastic bag plus bread equals moisture equals mold. So if you're going to put it in the fridge, wrap it in fabric. Kitchen towel fabric is fine before you put it in the fridge, so that something is there to absorb the excess moisture. The moisture in your bread is not good. If you're going to store your bread, ideally put it in the pantry. Put it in a dark, dry cupboard rather than in the fridge. Yes. Unless, of course, you're going to keep it for a lot longer, then you can freeze your bread and you can put it from the freezer straight into your toaster. How absolutely wonderful. And now your recipe for your scrub. You can use coffee grounds for a scrub. Yes, indeed. Just plain coffee grounds. You've used the coffee grounds. You've made your coffee. Keep them. Keep them. Take your coffee grounds, equal amounts of coffee grounds, sugar, a teaspoon of olive oil with the essential oil of your choice. Put that in a bottle. How wonderful it is in the shower. How wonderful it is to exfoliate the skin. Not only that, it improves your circulation. It gets rid of that appearance of cellulite. It's anti-aging. It reduces acne and scarring. Coffee grounds are wonderful as a beauty treatment. Okay. Then we spoke about bars of soap, because if you look, our home is full of plastic, and often it's the hand soap and the shampoo and the conditioners, and you can get shampoo in a bar. You can get conditioner in a bar. Then you have no plastic. No need for Mr. Fantastic plastic. Okay. But a plain, unscented soap is something you can make at home. This is where you needed your pen and paper. Let's get to it. You're wanting 500 grams of olive oil. That is your moisturizer. 300 grams of coconut oil. That is going to give you the lather and is actually going to clean your skin. Then you're wanting 200 grams of sunflower oil or sweet almond oil or jojoba oil. So this is the one where that's adding the softness, okay? So you choose which one you want. 200 grams. You need 380 grams of distilled water, which you can buy at any pharmacy near you, even the big chain names, you can buy it there. And then here is the dangerous part, because I have made this. You need to use caustic soda. I know you're going to say, what? What is this woman on Natural Living Show telling us about caustic soda to wash our bodies? No, you're not going to wash your body in caustic soda. What you're going to do is caustic soda is the thing that causes the saponification of your soap. So here's what you're going to do. You're going to get no aluminium here. No aluminium. You need stainless steel, and you need something that can tolerate high heat. Okay? You need a heat-proof jug. Like, for instance, your measuring jugs, those Pyrex dishes, that's fine. That is where you're going to make your lye solution, Lye, with your caustic soda, all right? You need a stick blender. You need any soap mold or any plastic container, food container. Make sure you got goggles, you got gloves, you got long sleeves, because safety first. Safety first. Work outside, well-ventilated area is very caustic. You don't want to inhale the fumes. But you're going to prepare first that lye solution. You're going to take your caustic soda or sodium hydroxide, whichever you want, and you're going to mix that. You're going to add that to the water, not the other way around. If you add water to caustic soda, it's going to explode. Gada boom. No, you're going to take your caustic soda, add that to the distilled water. Stir gently. It's going to dissolve and it's going to start to heat up. It's going to get hotter and hotter and hotter, and it's going to release fumes and hotter and hotter and hotter. Leave it. Let it cool down. Let it cool down to where it's about 40 degrees. So by the time that you can touch that glass and it is comfortable and warm but not hot, you have a good lye to make your soap. Now, all you do is you've mixed all your oils together. You take that lye and you pour it into those oils and take your stick blender until you start to find the mixture thicken. It becomes like whipped cream or like a thick pudding, if you like. Okay, you get those thick strands. Now you know it's ready. You're going to put it into your mold. Tap, tap, tap to get rid of air bubbles. And you can leave it for about 48 hours. Now, here's the thing. That doesn't mean after 48 hours you can use a soap. You will burn your skin. No, you need to let your soap cure. And curing of soap means you leave it in a dry place, well ventilated, ideally on a rack like you're cooling off cakes, and you turn it every now and then for at least 6 weeks. What's going to happen here? The water is going to evaporate. The soap is going to be hard, but not too hard, and it is a beautiful, beautiful soap that you can use. This is a plain soap. It's unscented. It's plant-based. It lathers well. It's gentle on the skin. And guess what? You know, when you've made your lye and you've set it aside with your caustic soda and your water, and now you've got all the oils, you can add to that your essential oils if you want to. The different essential oils you can add there and then. It's wonderful. So you can make a soap that smells of lavender. And if it's lavender, then it's also soothing and calming and relaxing. And so you're going to look up the properties of the essential oil that you want and say, oh, hang on a second. Maybe I can use rosemary because it's antiviral, it's antibacterial. Maybe I can use spearmint because I have PCOS. Aha! And if you're using spearmint and PCOS and making your soap, guess what? Then you can prevent that hair growth that happens on the face by making the soap in this way. Questions that have come in, let's address those quickly. Firstly, what is the name of your podcast? Yes, I do have a podcast. It's called The Real Life Lab with Rabia. But you can catch me here on Radio Al-Ansar. That's the best place to catch me every Sunday from 9 to 10 a.m. That is where you catch me. And you can bring your questions and we can answer them right here on the show. Then everybody learns together, right? So, that is how you're going to make your soap. So imagine if you wanted to, you could add oatmeal to your soap. And then you've got a wonderful soap that's anti-acne. You could add stinging nettle to that soap, the leaves. You can either make the tea and then add the the lye into that tea instead of water. So it's wonderful. For me, it's magical. Soap making is a wonderful thing. And it really does it reminds me of alchemy. You know, you get this idea, you're in the kitchen and you're brewing. And just to share with you, dear listeners, many years ago, I made soap from animal fats, and I had to render the soap down. And I was outside with a big poiky pot in the open air, stirring away as the fat melted down, and then it did a next process, and it is just so exciting to bring back those arts that are almost lost to us, right? All soap contains some form of lye, and lye is either the sodium hydroxide or the caustic soda. And that is all the time we have for today. Dear listeners, please join us next week on Sunday. You've